Eyn Yaakov, we're still on the story of Rabbi Gamliel, but here is this one. I like this part of it. I liked all of them, but this part is especially nice because it shows how disconnected a leader can be. And that's what we're going to learn here. So again, we're resuming the story. It says, Amar Rabbi Gamliel. So Rabbi Gamliel said, Ho el v'hachi have, since this is the case that the law follows Rabbi Yeshua, which we learned last week, that the law was that the person, a female of, since everybody was mished around by the Zuradim, so therefore we don't know who the Amalekites are, we don't know who the Moabites are, we don't know who the Ammonites are, everybody came to marry. Fine. She said that since that's the case, that the law follows, like I said, Rabbi Yeshua, Ezil B'Paisel Rabbi Yeshua, I'm going to go and I'm going to ask Rabbi Yeshua for forgiveness. After all, I embarrassed him. I have to ask him for forgiveness, and that's it. Okay? So, Arshkol gives this whole little thing. It says, seeing that the majority of the Sanhedrin had decided in favor of Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Gamliel concluded that Hashem was with Rabbi Yeshua. And so Rabbi Gamliel therefore regretted having pained Rabbi Yeshua and resolved to ask for forgiveness. Good? Okay, very nice. So now, Kimata Levete, when he got to Rabbi Yeshua's house, Chazinhu La'ashyata Devete the Mishacharan. He saw that the walls of his house were black. Okay, he saw that he came in, the houses are black. The whole walls are black. Why are they black? So he says, Armalo, he said to him, Mikotle Beitcha, from the walls of your house, Ata Nikar Shepechami Ata. It is apparent that you are a blacksmith. Okay? Because that's why your walls are dirt, or a charcoal maker, or something like that. A dirty job. So Armalo, Rabbi Yeshua said to him, Olo the door Ata Mefarnaso. Woe to the generation whose leader you are. Okay? Why? For you don't know the suffering of the Torah scholars. You don't know how they support themselves, and you don't know how they're nourished. What kind of leader are you? Here you were, the prince, making all your decrees in the ivory towers of the Sanhedrin, and you didn't even know, nor care to know, how we live. That's Rabbi Yeshua's statement to him. That's telling a leader right off. You don't even appreciate who you are.
In other words, the first thing he says to him is, rather than the apology he was supposed to do, the first thing he says, you must be a blacksmith.
Not even, he didn't realize he was a blacksmith. That's the point. He didn't know. Here you are, you're learning with this guy, with Rabbi Yeshua, who was the Av Beitin. Okay? It's a big shot in the rabbinic world. And you didn't even know, you're arguing with him constantly, and you didn't know what he does. You didn't know he's poor. Nor did you care. You didn't care to know. By the way, it's the old adage that a man can know another man for 30 years and know nothing about him, and two women get together in 5 minutes and know everything about each other. Okay? We don't do that. That's not how males work, I guess. We just don't care to know what's going on in your life. If we are playing golf with you, that's all we know. We don't care about your home life. We don't. As a matter of fact, if you want to speak about home life, that's when you have to go out and buy me a beer. So I'm going to listen to that. I have to be getting drunk for that. I'm really interested. Okay? So that's how people are. But women have a different type of communication where they will figure it out very quickly. So he's saying, but he's giving real mussar to this, to Rabbi Gamliel. He says, what kind of leader are you that you didn't know how the Talmidei Chachama of your area are supporting themselves? This is the first time you realize it? You decide to come to my house? Okay. So Amralo, Rabbi Gamliel said to him, after even hearing that insult, he said, Na'aneti lecha I have spoken badly against you. Macholi, forgive me. Velashkafbe, Rabbi Yeshua didn't pay attention to him. He was like, leave me alone. Not interested. I say, Bishvil Kavod Abba, do it, Rabbi Gamliel pleaded, for the sake of the honor of my father. Pious. At that point, Rabbi Yeshua he said, I forgive you. So what's going on? Hillel, who was Rabbi Gamliel's great-great-grandfather, that's who he's really referring to. In other words, forgive me because of Hillel. I have him on my side. Alternatively, it could be to Rabbi Gamliel's father, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, who was of one of the 10 martyrs, murdered by the Roman government. And by the way, you also have a halacha here. It's a very interesting halacha. I don't know if they bring it down here, but I know it's in the Shulchan Aruch. That when I'm asking you to do something for me, I should not, if it's a favor, I should always try to do it for the sake of my father. So that gives him kavod, that gives him honor. So if I'm making a business deal, and even though I could get it done on my own, I should still go to my father, say, do it for my father's sake. Okay? On the other hand, if it's going to go against that, if the guy doesn't like my father, then you don't bring that up. Okay, so here he's saying, forgive me. The guy says, nope, not happening. Then he says, okay, for the sake of my father or my great-grandfather, Hillel, finally he says yes. Great, okay, peace is in the world, at least between these two. So now we have to figure something else. So Amru, they said, Man nezil v'lemelehu rabban. So who is going to go and tell the rabbis what happened? Amar lehu hahu kove. So a certain laundryman said to them that Ana azona, I'll go. It's like the guy who wants to volunteer. I'll go. Fine. So Shalach lehu Rabbi Yeshua lebei midrash. So Rabbi Yeshua sent the following message with this laundryman to the rabbis. He says, Man delavish mada yilbash mada. Let him who was accustomed to wear the robe continue to wear the robe. In other words, give Rabbi Gamliel back his job. We've made up. No need to oust him any longer than that. Uman delo lavish mada yemar leman delavish mada. And shall he who is not accustomed to wear the robe say to him who is accustomed to wear the robe, Shlach madach v'ana al b'shei, remove your robe and I will don it. Is that proper? So Rabbi Gamliel, who was sworn the uniform of the Nasi, should be returned to his position. And again, our school says the Gemara in Sanhedrin derives from the verse, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the scholar from among descendants. What we learned on this past Sunday about Judah being the rightful heir to the throne. That the position of the Nasi rightfully belongs to the member of the tribe of Judah. Thus, Rabbi Yeshua intimated with his message that the role of leader should be maintained in the line of Hillel, who was a descendant of King David, who came from the tribe of Judah, and should not be usurped by Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who was a descendant of Ezra, the Kohen from the tribe of Levi. Okay. And by the way, this is also a good point that since Ezra is from the tribe of Levi, we already saw Kohanim. We already saw what happens when you have Kohanim running the show, namely the Chashmonayim, the Hasmoneans. We're not allowed to do that long time. It only can be a very short walk in the park if you wish. And then it has to go back to Yehuda. To Yehuda. The problem is here that you people elected Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. You put him there. His wife is the one that told him, honey, today they love you, tomorrow you're out. And he said, better to drink from the cup one day, and so on and so forth. Well, his drinking of cups is about to come to an end. Okay. So right now we have this problem. So what happens? He goes, doesn't work. Amalahu Rabbi Akiva l'Rabbanan. So now Rabbi Akiva said to the Rabbanan, Tirokul Gale, lock the doors of the study hall. Delo leti avde the Rabban Gamliel v'tzaru l'Rabbanan. So that the servants of Rabban Gamliel do not come and harass the rabbis. Okay? So he says, this Sittich Chachamim. He says all the Rabbi Akiva and the sages understood from the message that Rabbi Yeshua had become reconciled. They wished to carefully consider their next step without pressure from Rabbi Gamliel's household to immediately reinstate him. And also the people want to argue that the laundryman could not even gain admittance to the study hall to deliver his message. Rabbi Akiva's instruction to lock the door had come before the handyman arrived. The laundryman arrived, sorry. So either way, they're deciding before, without being pressured by Rabbi Gamliel, who again really deserves to be there, what they're going to do. Fine. So Amar Rav Yeshua, so Rav Yeshua said, Mutav de'ekem ve'ezel ana legabehu. It's better that I go to them myself. Rav Yeshua is going to leave his home. He's going to go. Ata taraf abalva. He came and knocked on the door. Amar lahu. He said to them, Mazeh ben mazeh yazeh. Let the sprinkler, son of a sprinkler, sprinkle. There is, he's a Kohen, let him sprinkle. She'eno lo mazeh, lo ben mazeh, yoma lo mazeh ben mazeh. And shall he who is neither a sprinkler, nor the son of a sprinkler, say to the son of the sprinkler, okay, your cave, your water is cave water, the efrucha efer amachla, and your ashes are cinders. Okay, so you can't do what you're doing. It's not proper to do what we're doing. So Amalo Rabbi Akiva said to him, Rabbi Yeshua, did Payasta? Rabbi Yeshua, you guys made up? Are you appeased? Kulanu asinu, I'm sorry. Kalam asinu ela bishvil kavodcha. Did we do this? Did we remove Rabbi Gamliel for any other reason than only for your honor? We only did for you. Everything we did for you. The machar ani v'ata nashkim l'pitcho. So tomorrow you and I will go to Rabbi Gamliel's door. We're going to make up. Okay, fine. He's going to tell him that he's back on the job. So hey, now you have a problem. You have two guys. Yeah. Okay. And on top of that, let's just look at this from a job performance point of view. If you put somebody up and tell him you're a temporary guy, fine, I'm temporary. The guy gets better, he comes in, I'm fine with that. But if you tell me you are it, you're the man, you're the nasi, very good. So now, unless I've done something wrong, you have no right to replace me. What I do wrong? Okay. So now it's a matter of job performance, and since Rabbi Elazar ben Azar did nothing wrong, and Rabbi Gamliel did, and he was replaced. Now the big guy's made up. So wait, why make me the schlepper? Don't make me I should be a schlepper.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Let me just jump ahead without having looked at it. He told his wife, if it lasts a day, it lasts a day. That's fine. That's fine. Again, if I decide on my own, look, I'm going to ride the Bronco as long as I can, or whatever the expression. Ride the bull as long as I can. That's my business. But when you come to tell me, get off the bull, wait a second. Who are you to tell? I'm riding the bull. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm holding on. I'm maintaining everything. I kept it going. What I do wrong before you oust me? Tell me what I did wrong. Did I insult somebody? What I do? You notice when you want to let somebody go from a job, what happens? If you want to let somebody go, that you can't just at a whim. I mean, you could, depending on what kind of place you are, but assuming it's a normal place, you can't, as a boss, just at a whim, let the guy go. It's not right. It's not proper. You have to say, if he does something wrong, I give you a warning. 1 warning, 2 warnings, 3 warnings, 3 strikes, you're out. Okay? But no warnings, you're an exemplary guy. And, you know what? My cousin came to town, I have to give him a job. So he's here, you're out. What kind of nonsense is that? I'll sue you, What kind of nonsense is that? You can't fire me for that. I didn't do anything wrong. I've heard of all these things happen.
Right. That's a problem. They do happen, and it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not bekavadik. It's not Toradic. is what we call rishus. It's just outright wickedness.
Not menschlichkeit.
It's not menschlichkeit. If you're going to let the guy, they understood that. It's not menschlich. You can't. I don't know how to say menschlich. I just say menschlich. It's not proper conduct, I guess.
Yeah.
Manly.
Yeah.
No, manly. Doesn't match it.
Proper behavior.
Proper behavior.
A mensch.
A mensch.
Not menschlich.
Manly.
Menschlichkeit is what I said.
Yeah, it's not menschlich. So, for those who are watching it, look up menschlich. Okay. I think everybody who's ever watching this understands menschlich. Okay. So let's go. So Amre, they said, this is what they came up with. Hey, Chinavid, what shall we do? Navre, shall we remove Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah completely from office? No, that can't be. Can't do that. Gemire ma'alin b'kodesh ve'emaridin. Because we have a rule that we can go up in matters of Kedusha, but never down.
Menlik would be a gentleman-like.
Gentleman-like, fine. Okay. Thank you. So we can go up in Kedusha, but never go down. This, by the way, this principle has a lot of ramifications. And there was if I'm putting on a talit, I'm married. Okay, I put on a talit. Not me. I don't have, Reuven is married. He puts on a talit, but Reuven gets divorced. Okay? Reuven needs to keep that talit on. The four-corner garment. Okay? He needs to keep that on because you can only go up in Kedusha, never go down. So here, we brought this guy up. He did nothing wrong. He didn't put himself down. If he did something wrong, he was caught for, what all these guys get caught for? Moral turpitude. Moral turpitude. If they caught for moral turpitude, you put yourself down. Don't bother me. Okay, but he did nothing wrong, so we can't fire him. We have this principle of going up and not coming down. Fine. So Nidrosh. So what they happened? So they said Nidrosh mar chada shavta umar chada shavta. So they said maybe one person should lecture 1 week and the other master the other week. They should alternate. Okay, but they said no good. Why? Because atu the kunye is going to lead to jealousy. No good on one part or the other. Ella, what's going to happen is, this is what they decided. Lidrosh Rabban Gamliel Talata Shavta, V'Ravi Elazar ben Azariah Chada Shavta. That Rabban Gamliel will lecture for three weeks in a row, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah will then do 1 week. Okay, that's how they decided to break this up. So the Gemara says, Vayinu da'amar mar, and that's the meaning of these what they said in the Braita. Shabbat shall mi aita. Whose week was it? Shall Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and that was the week of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So the Gemara concludes of the Otu Talmud, and who was the student who originally asked the question that sparked the entire debate? Rabbi Lindahl's favorite guy, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Hava. Shimon ben Yochai. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai is the one who has to run away from the Romans. He is the ultimate kanoi for Hashem. He's the ultimate zealous one for Hashem. And he's the one who hides in the cave for 12 years 10 years with his son, ultimately 12, but it's 10 years and comes out and it's all these things. He's one who we celebrate Lag BaOmer. That's all him, okay? So that was the student who sparked the debate and got this whole thing going. But think about how they did this. What they did was they gave it to one person for 3 weeks, and the other one is once a week, okay? And that's how, once a month. So 3 times a month versus 1. On Shabbat, there would be the big lecture, apparently. And so that's how they would do it. That way, both of them could fill the position, and yet Rabban Gamliel, of course, since he's really from Yehuda anyway, he really had the right to be there by the Pasuk, and he should have been there. They ousted him, and so they had to make up. That was the way. If they would have made them equal, that would have caused a jealousy factor. So they couldn't do that. But I think it's one of the amazing stories. That's the fourth part of this that you see, where the leader was, according to Rav Yeshua, divorced from his own people. Woe to the generation as a leader like you. which also shows that Rabbi Yeshua, again, he was second in control. Wasn't a yes man. He wasn't willing to say, "Oh yeah, thank you so much for coming to my house. You come in, you realize this is the first time you understood that I was working like this. You're so disconnected. What kind of leader are you?" And it really, what it says to us as leaders, as potential leaders anyway, is that the leader has to feel the pain of his people, and that's why when Mary Antoinette, right? No, Maria. Mary Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake." They wanted to they did string her up?
No, they took her to trial and guillotined her.
Guillotined her, okay. When they guillotined her because she was so disconnected. How can you be disconnected? They eat cake. What nonsense. Okay? Or when our leaders do something stupid and just are disconnected with us.
Vote them out of office.
We don't. We just keep them going for some reason. But I'm just saying, we look at them, or when college professors speak, we say you're living in an ivory tower. All these things because they're disconnected from the world. And the rabbis, they claim, are like that sometimes. You have some rabbis who are pie in the sky. Again, they don't leave yeshiva. So they're making decrees left and right. And you're thinking, did you ever walk out of the yeshiva? Look at what's going on in the world, before you start ruling. Which is why they never make it into the big leagues. That's the truth. They don't get wide acceptance. It's only the people who understand what's going on. Reb Moshe, who understood what was going on, even though he stayed in his basement, but he read the papers again. But he knew what was going on, and he would rule accordingly. And so people respected that. They may not have liked everything he said, but still, everybody greatly respected him, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and so on and so forth. We have some leaders who were very well respected because they do know what's going on out there. And when you don't, nobody respects you. And that's what he was saying. Woe to that generation. We'll have to stop here. But I just thought it was a beautiful... I spent a lot of time there because it was a very beautiful part that we had to learn. Yeah, you had a question?
Who had 3 weeks and who had 1 week?
The original guy, Rabbi Gamliel, would have 1 week, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah would have... he had 3 weeks, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah would have 1 week.
Do we know how long Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was actually in the position by himself before this reverted?
Very short time.
Very short time.
You're lucky if he was a week.
Okay.
When I was in Canada, so that was when Brian Mulroney was the prime minister, and something happened with Brian. He appointed Kim Campbell, who was to be the underling, like our vice president.
Yeah.
And then something happened to him. He had to retire. He had to resign. So Kim Campbell became the prime minister of Canada for the summer. She had a 3-week stint, and then a 3-month stint, and then she was voted out of office because she never won. And so everybody joked that this is Kimmy's summer vacation.
Yeah.
And she gets to be vice president. So Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah apparently would have been the same situation.
Okay.
I don't think he got much time. He maybe got.
And
he was lucky.
And they let him stay on in quote unquote minor role. Out of 4.
Well, he becomes a big player. Don't kid yourself. He's a big player.
Yeah.
But it's he doesn't get much time. Like from this set, he won't get much time. Okay.